A wrong decision. Both of them knew so well when they agreed over a dinner, and Ryan asked Jess really politely to let her feed the kid as she wanted to spend time with her. Jungkook allowed, without a complaint. Jungkook never before allowed anyone to even touch or step near Miri. He was letting Ryan do things which made him question himself. He ate in silence all the while watching the two ladies, Ryan and his tiny princess, talking around in baby language all the while laughing and eating. He may have a huge home to accommodate over 500 people at once, but it was empty and silent except for the lively cheers of his daughter. Guess it was not the scene anymore, since the lady stepped in his life. Ryan, she is too dangerous for my health. She laughed, wiping her own cheek, which had a sauce thanks to the little one. She wouldn't stop admiring Miri's cuteness and liveliness, knowing whatever the kid went through in past, she never deserved it. Jungkook, makes me proud. Ryan snorted. You sound like one typical Mafia dad. I'm going to make my kid take after me. Jungkook, no. I'm going to teach her how to fight for her own protection. But stay still there. She is never going to enter this mess. Ryan smiled. Miri had one best father, and that filled the space of her mother. Miri yawned, balling her hands in fists with her eyes closed shut. She curled herself against Ryan, who picked her up, putting her in her lap, and kissed her head. Jungkook, she usually stays awake till 11 a.m. Seems like she enjoyed your company enough to tire herself. Ryan, I'll put her to bed. Jungkook wiped his mouth with a napkin and stood up. Ryan did so too and followed him upstairs. Once the two reached the room, Ryan guessed Jess sleeps with Miri. The room was filled with toys, even a bouncer, and huge plushes. She placed her down on the bed, sitting beside her, and stayed there till she slept. Miri held on to Ryan so tightly, as if her life depended on it. Ryan could feel Jungkook was still there, leaning against the door frame, watching them two with his arms crossed over his chest. She was too busy with the kid before to realize how Jungkook looked at her throughout the whole time. Her heartbeat got high and cheeks turning red, but she didn't give any reaction. This was wrong, and Jungkook knew so well, yet he let his heart take over. For as long as she was in front of him, he admired her and wished to keep her here with him forever. Ryan never realized when she slept there beside Miri. It was 3 a.m. at night when she suddenly woke up. It was when she realized she was laying beside Miri all curled up. Her eyes shifted around the dark room to find Jungkook sleeping on the couch in a sitting position, his head thrown back and muscles stiff. She felt bad for keeping him awake all the time she was sleeping. She knew Jungkook wouldn't take any risk leaving someone with his daughter, especially when she was attacked in the past. It only took her small movement trying to get down from bed, and Jungkook was awake already and on high alert. Ryan, I'm sorry, I didn't realize, she whispered. She watched how he rolled his neck, and his stiff muscles made a sound of pain. Jungkook, that's fine. He followed Ryan outside the room. Jungkook. Jess will stay with her. Wyan. Right. I'll go back. You should rest too. Jungkook. It's too late to go back. Return in the morning. She looked at time and sighed. Jungkook called Jess and she went to sleep with Miri. Wyan followed Jungkook to a guest room and stepped inside. She smiled seeing the picture frame of him with his daughter. Jungkook, before you ask, I don't admire guests staying in my home. And for the sole reason, I never had the guest room set up. It only gives an excuse to let them stay. You won't find a bed here except for the servant quarters. And I wouldn't want my guests to stay there. Jungkook, so this is where you are staying. She blinked in disbelief, and before she could say a word, he already disappeared in the washroom. What? I'm staying here? Same room as him? She screamed internally and stayed stuck on her place till he returned. Jungkook, going back is not an option, miss. Don't even suggest that. She watched him setting the bed. It felt so domestic, gave off such husband material vibes, and her heart twisted at the sight. She had to curse at herself for even thinking that way, but something about him kept on pulling her towards him more and more. Wine, won't you be uncomfortable? I already kept you awake whole night. Jungkook, it's fine with me. I can go 2 nights without sleeping. Ah, right. She pursued her lips but quietly walked to one side of the bed, taking a seat. It was her heart, never calming down at every shift of sheets underneath her. It made her imagine so many wrong things. But what even wrong was, none of her imagination was pure. Oh God, Wyan, I know, he's handsome and hot and perfect father and a perfect man with amazing manners. But he is a mafia. And what the hell is wrong with you? She lay down and glanced at him once. He was using his cell phone. She took it as a cue he was not sleeping before her. Closing her eyes, she tried so hard to block those stupid imaginations. She felt, no, she wished for him to do to her, to put his phone away and slip close to her and hold her, and she groaned internally, pulling her sheets up and slept without much effort. It was quite late after all. The next morning, she woke up when she felt weight on her body. She woke up to see Miri patting her body, trying to wake her up while looking at her with wide, curious eyes. A smile came up on her lips, which turned in a shock as the realization hit her. She was hugging Jungkook's arm, using it as a pillowcase, while he was wide awake, brushing his fingers through his daughter's hair. Jungkook, good morning. It was such a married couple sight, and the thought only made butterflies churn in her stomach. Wine. Oh, good morning. She instantly left his arm and sat up. Miri, good morning. She clapped, and Wine wished her a good morning too. Jungkook got off the bed, kissing Miri's head, and went to washroom. Oh dear heart, he's not helping my imagination at all. She thought. She stayed with Miri for a few minutes till Jungkook came back and picked her up, putting her in front of him. He sat behind her, bringing all those hair accessories and brush, and started making her hair. She never knew it was him who made all those cute hairstyles on Miri. Wine. How did you learn those? Jungkook. Tutorials. She imagined him sitting in front of laptop, watching video tutorials only for his daughter. It warmed her heart. Jungkook braided her hair and pinned a few butterfly clips of big and small sizes in her hair. Jungkook. Now you look like a butterfly. She kept her own cheeks, moving side to side, feeling like the prettiest princess she was of her father. She grabbed a big butterfly clip and moved it towards Mayan. It was asking Jungkook to make Mayan's hair too. Jungkook took the pin and handed it over to Mayan. It was then Miri started to win and snatched the pin back, giving it to Jungkook again. Mayan, hey Miri, I will do it. She stopped when Miri started to win again, leading to crying. It was an awkward situation. Jungkook sighed, taking the pin. Jungkook, it's okay, come here. She sat in front of Jungkook, his rough hands brushing through her hair. She felt his fingers against her skin. They were so gentle as he made her hairstyle the one similar to Miri. Jungkook, I'm sorry if she made you uncomfortable. Why? No, please. That's really fine. She's such a kid. Jungkook, I thought it was fine spoiling her as long as it was me. I would have done everything. But then she starts making demands from everyone in her side. One, she wouldn't stay with you always. Once she grow a year or two, she will have to step out of the home for schooling. She will meet a lot of people and make demands and be winning about it. Jungkook, so you are saying I shouldn't spoil her? Why? You should. That's your love for her. But she shall know how to take a no. Jungkook had slowly started to understand event after another event why Jess always asked him to bring a wife for himself and his child. He was too occupied with his work, he sometimes desired a partner whom he could return home to. Once he was done with the hairstyle, he clipped the butterfly in her hair, the two curls looking identical, giving off such mother and daughter vibes. Jungkook sighed. This was where he made a choice, and when he decides something, he never steps back. I am going to make her mine. Miri stood up on her feet with the help of Mayan, who was still sitting near Jungkook. The kid was excited to experience the whole thing. Jungkook smiled softly at her happiness. Jungkook, give me your account details. I received the money already. I will get it transferred to your account. She nodded. It was fast, and she was amused how quick police works when it comes to powerful men. Completely forgetting about the fact he was a mafia and there was no way he would have asked for help. Wine, let's brush your teeth. She picked her up and went out of the room towards hers, disappearing from Jungkook's side. He didn't follow them, letting his heart take control and trust her with his daughter. Jungkook, how can you make me feel things I never allowed myself to? Within a night, you are able to knock on my heart. To be continued.